This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're here today with Kevin Humphreys, Lloyd's Register's new Marine and Offshore President for the Americas, to discuss his position and his priorities. Kevin, it's great to catch up with you as always. We've known each other a very long time. To start, what are some of the keys that attracted you to the position at Lloyd's Register?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me on. And it's good to see you as always. It's been a while and not as frequently as we're used to under normal circumstances. So it's good to see you again. So to answer your question, Lloyd's reached out, and I had some great discussions with Mark Darley, who's the head of Marine and Offshore globally. And I really had the impression, the feeling that this was an organization that knew where they were, and they wanted to be number one, and they wanted to build a great team. And I felt a little bit like I was, Billy Beane being asked by John Henry to put together a World Series team for baseball, and so it was an exciting offer from that standpoint. And we're in an industry that generally historically has moved slow, and here was an organization that said, look, we really want to change, we really want to be number one, we really want to help our clients, and we want you to be part of that.
To start, can you give us a by the numbers look today at Lloyd's Register using the metrics of your choice?
But historically, as I came in, we had about 7,100 employees globally, and our turnover was about $1 billion US. And we're in a global presence. Here in the Americas, we're in 14 countries in the Americas with about 30 office locations and a total of 571 employees. And we on the marine side have about $60 million turnover last year.
Looking specifically at North America, where is Lloyd's Register traditionally strongest?
Sure. So one of our core business sectors in North America or in the Americas is the cruise sector. It's always been traditionally strong, and that we have a very large presence there, both in terms of what's in service and what's on construction. We're running about 35% of global construction in the passenger sector is Lloyd's Register. One of the other areas that we have a large presence in is in Canada. So Canada Defense and Coast Guard relies very heavily on Lloyd's for their building standards and risk management during those construction phases. And then lastly, I would say complex projects. I mean, we do a lot of very complex gas offshore projects, and have had great success with clients in the risk management of those projects.
Kevin, I know no organization likes to talk about quote unquote weaknesses, but when you look at Lloyd's Register in the Americas, where is it the weakest in your opinion, and what is your strategy to improve?
Sure. I mean, it's a fair question, and I don't think there's a boxer or UFC fighter that doesn't look at it and have respect for their rivals, and constantly evaluating their own weaknesses. So as I mentioned, coming in, this was an organization with a real mindset to change. One of the places we're investing significantly is platforms, digital platforms, both on our internal processes and as that flows out to the external processes for our customers. We want to be able to deliver bread and butter services. I talked about complex projects, but we want to be able to deliver that bread and butter service that is a key core part of our business seamlessly, painlessly, efficiently to our customers. And as we talk some more about how digital is affecting the industry, if you think about it, there's really no reason in this day and age that an owner, we know where the ships are. I mean, we could track the ships. We know when they're due for inspections. Can we have inspectors waiting on the dock with our internal systems, speaking to the external data that's coming in, and it all happens like that. So that's an area that we recognize we want to be the best in, and we're really investing strategically. And my colleague John Hicks, who was formerly in this role, is leading that global strategic deployment. As we're changing, and I think this is really important, is within the nature of the industry changing and the risk profiles changing for the various risk parties in transactions, whether that's as the whole in the cruise industry, which kind of holds their entire operation and finance under one umbrella, or more in the commercial commoditized sector where you have multiple risk counterparties in most transactions, that we're becoming that valued partner in their business growth. And so for me, coming into an organization, being used to being in companies with great people, very smart technical people, very smart engineers, very good at what they do, but you need to create a cultural change that they understand what they do in terms of the value of the clients. That both gives the clients what they need, which is a partner in growth, and makes your own team understand their own value into the marketplace. We're not selling commodity smart people. We're selling expertise to help our clients grow. And that's a cultural shift in an organization that I want to make happen. That's part of what we're doing here. And that runs through commercial, sales, technical services, and inspection. So that's another area that we're going to be focusing on in the Americas.
So Kevin, and again, you referenced the digital trend previously, but every time I have these conversations, we discuss how maritime is in a transcendent period with decarbonization, digitalization, and autonomy conspiring to materially impact the business to its very core. With that as a backdrop, what are LR North America's priorities in the coming years?
Sure. I've had conversations over the past couple of years that I've never had before in this industry. I mean, it is really the dynamic of the regulatory environment, the environmental concerns has radically changed. And so specifically the context is this: you see individuals and risk counterparties to deals asking questions they were never asking before, and looking for advice and counsel that they were never asking before. The maritime lending industry was always very staid and sort of in the background. You weren't concerned who an owner's lenders were. You weren't concerned who an owner's main customers, charters or beneficial cargo owners were. That has totally changed. All of these parties now need advice, want to understand the risk, and have very strong desires to manage that risk and contribute to reductions in emissions. So the conversation has changed radically. And the questions and the advice that CEOs and executives need of owners, that lenders and investors and banks need to feel comfortable with, and again, the counterparties, the charters need to know what is the risk profile of this deal, has radically changed. So that's sort of the context of what's going on. And one of the biggest pieces of that, I think, is the digital world. We've talked about it a lot. I think it's really coming into now, because the way you handle a lot of these issues, how do I squeeze out efficiencies? How do I reduce emissions? How do I have compliance that's fair and equitable across the board? Digital technology can do that and can enter into whole new business arrangements. If you think about charter party agreements, they're essentially unchanged for 300 years or something like that. Get my cargo from A to B at a certain delivery date. Well, can we make that dynamic? Can the port send signals based on traffic that adjust the charter party agreement electronically, using data, third-party signals that says, look, we're delivering just in time in that respect to reduce speeds and reduce emissions. Huge area of inefficiency. So these are the places where digital can really impact an operation. I have I think a unique perspective on digital as it leads into this change, and this is something too, being a New Yorker, and I lived in New York for five years, and at the time I was in law enforcement there, not the maritime world. So one of those unique parts of my career, and at the time, what we would have almost laughed at as far as its technology level, when New York City and Mayor Giuliani really wanted to drive down crime rates, they instituted a tool called CompStat. Now, not horribly sophisticated in what we would think of today, but the idea was, for the first time, I'm collecting all of the available data. So now I can understand relationships. When I do something here, what happens over here, and I can hold individuals accountable, essentially. Like if I really want to focus on something, I can hold the entire organization accountable and create cultural change throughout an organization using a digital platform as a lever to do that. So I think these are the places where owners are really looking for, how do we use digital? Charters are looking for this. Banks even want to understand now with Poseidon principles, what's going on, and how do we have verification, and how do we contribute? So this is where I think digital is really going to play out for the industry and be part of this really radical change that's going on.
I've been discussing the evolution of class for nearly 30 years. And while COVID has presented plenty of challenges, it's also fast-tracked a number of initiatives, namely around digitalization and remote work. How has this and how will it continue to impact class and the delivery of your services?
Sure. I mean, obviously, COVID changed a lot for all of us, and it made us rethink work. And for us, traditionally needed to be on site for inspection, and we had to rethink that. So I think one of the biggest things is remote surveys that we're doing now of about 30,000 surveys that we do in a given year. About a third of those are done remotely via video feeds and remote inspection. So again, this is where we're leveraging that technology to A, get done what needs to be done, and B, make it much more efficient for the owners and for us, so that we can become more efficient and more cost effective for our clients. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things is the remote surveys. You'll also see more robust, again, we're talking about digital a little bit, more robust as these platforms with the model being the model we've chosen is more of I guess I would make it akin to an Android model. In other words, a core platform that others can add into. You're going to see more and more digital data coming in from various engine OEMs and process equipment OEMs that's aggregated in a core platform that your class society will be able to use that in the course of inspections and risk management.
As you settle into your new position, what are your priorities in the coming 12 to 24 months?
Sure. Immediate service to our clients is the need right now to deal with the EEXI regulations, AER with Poseidon principles, and Sea Cargo Charter, these various regimes that are coming in, some regulatory, some industry led in the case of Poseidon principles and Sea Cargo Charter. Owners, charters, banks, they need to understand where are we and how do we manage that risk going forward, that we're not holding stranded assets that can't perform under the regime and have that license to operate under, if you will, under EEXI. So I think that's really key, that we serve our clients well through that phase and advise them well. The second thing is the cruise industry. Obviously, it hasn't been operating and it's starting to get going again. And I think, again, kind of coming back to your first question, one of the fascinating things about LR that a lot of people may not know is, for example, we have resources to help the cruise industry with their health and safety plans as they're getting back up and running. So getting our cruise clients up running safely is another really, really key priority for us. And then I don't want to not mention, as I mentioned by the numbers at the beginning of our talk, that you caught us in a week where we recently, or actually Wednesday, announced the divestment of our business assurance and inspection services division. So as this rolls out for us, both internally and externally, the idea and the thought was we really want to focus on what our core ocean economy clients need. Where there may be overlap, we will still work together seamlessly with business assurance. But what this means for Lloyd's and what it means for our clients is we will be investing and reinvesting back into our operations, building those capabilities to do all those things I talked about, delivering bread and butter service as well, helping customers with digital platforms and risk management going into the future. So those are big focuses for us. It's a lot of change, but we think it's the right change for Lloyd's and for our clients going into the future.
Okay, Kevin, that was excellent. Again, I truly appreciate your time. I congratulate you on your new role, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thanks, Greg. Always good to talk to you.